Everywhere you go, especially if you're a bimbler like me, you find listed buildings, the old cottages, the stately homes and the ancient churches. Just like this one behind me, St Mary's Church here in Lymm. It was designed by a John Dobson. He designed Newcastle Central Railway Station and Warrington Museum. But what about the little stuff, the odd stuff, the curiously listed? Well, Lymm here in Warrington has loads of them. Let's bimble. Boat, boat, boat. I'm currently sat on a big block of sandstone outside of the Shell garage on Higher Lane here in Lymm. It's not an ancient Olympic medal podium or a set of steps so you can see how high the petrol prices are here. It was thought to be a Victorian horse block, a way of getting back on your horse, perhaps if you got off it, to go in the Londis and get your fags and Rizzler. They call them horse blocks or carriage stones, or if you're from Scotland, a looping on stain. But it's not one of those, it's a resting stone. It was donated by a Dr. James Kendrick in 1860, and it's a place for you to sit if you were looking for work between Liverpool and Manchester. There were originally 30 of them, there's only 12 left, but 6 of them are here in Warrington. There's one over in Grappenhall, one in Great Sankey, Winwick, Walton, Redbank, and this one here in Lymm. It's very handy, especially if you just rode your bike up that big hill. Let's bimble.
To you I was a drifting line, drawn between a light to capture, but only shown in pictures sewn from my arms.
Down Tower Lane, you'll find the old Lymm water tower. It doesn't provide fresh drinking water for the people of Lymm anymore though. Someone's converted it into a posh house. In fact, it was on that Channel 4 programme, Grand Designs. You can stop in there now, it's an Airbnb. £235 a night, with a hot tub at the top of the tower. Sounds very nice. I won't hang about though, someone might be having a mini break in there, mightn't they? Let's bimble.
Love grown consumed, and you know I'll never let it go. You'll find in time, I'll never let it go. You'll find it's right. I'll only ever know how to speak my mind. I'll only ever know how to speak my mind.
I've come right to the border of Lymm Bimblers. Just on the other side of Agden Bridge is Little Bollington, and you might think I've come to see Agden Bridge. Maybe that's listed. There are plenty of listed bridges going over the Bridgewater Canal here in Lymm, which we'll see on the way. We've got one very, very special bridge here in Lymm though, that I'm saving until the end. So if I'm not here to see the bridge, perhaps I'm here to see the green crane that stands to the side of the bridge. Maybe that's listed. No, that's not listed either. What about the bench dedicated to Eric that my bike's leant up against? Perhaps that's listed. No. What we've come to see here, Bimblers, is a black cast iron water caisson on the other side of the Bridgewater Canal. It's used by Lymm Cruising Club. It's Grade 2 listed, and very curiously so. Let's bimble.
Washed in clean by a riverside. They told you the news. Kept so cold in the blackest tide. If only you knew. I've heard what they've said, ignored what I read.
Here's one of those listed bridges, Bimblers. It's called Grantham's Bridge. That's because there's a farm round here that used to be owned by a fella called Grantham. It was built in 1770 and it was designed by James Brindley, the fella that designed the Bridgewater Canal. And it's listed Grade 2. It leads off into Spud Wood. We did a camp there a few years back, Bimblers, didn't we? You should probably go and watch that if you haven't watched it before. And make potato bravas, you know, because it's Spud Wood. On either side of the bridge, there are two signs which I think should be listed. They're not curiously listed at the moment. It's two iron signs put there by the Manchester Ship Canal company many years ago. Tells you how heavy your car could be to go over the bridge. But no cars go over there anymore. Just bimblers and people walking the dogs. Speaking of bimbling.
So here's to the bad times, forgotten in good lives. I won't let you down. I'll take off my shoes and dance to the good news. Broken smiles, well, they won't turn it round. So take off your shoes and dance to the good news.
Another one of those listed bridges here in Lymm. Grade 2 listed, Lloyd Bridge. Once again, it was built in 1770 and it was designed by James Brindley, the fella that designed the canal. It hasn't always been called Lloyd Bridge. It was named after a family that worked on the Bridgewater Canal for about 200 years. Before that, it just would have had a number. Not sure what that would have been. Let's bimble.
To be true. Dim lit scenes of a better life. Spoken in loud tones to you. Well, I've heard what they've said, ignored what I read, and looked to the bright side. So here's to the bad times, forgotten in good lives. I won't let you down. I'll take off my shoes and dance to the good news. Broken smiles, but they won't turn it round. So take off your shoes.
This is the main focal point of Lymm Village, Lymm Cross. It was built as a market cross in the 1600s. It's made out of sandstone, but everything's made out of sandstone in Lymm. It sits on the Mersey Valley, which is all sandstone. Lymm Cross sits on a natural outcrop of sandstone, here in the middle of Lymm Village. The River Mersey would have come a lot closer to Lymm than it does these days, before they built the Manchester Ship Canal, and they cut all the loops that went to Lymm off. In fact, those loops became Lymm Golf Course. The cross was done up in 1897, but since then, It's just been allowed to do its thing, and that makes it Grade 1 listed bimblers. But it's not just a Grade 1 listed cross you have here, it's double bubble. You have the Grade 2 listed Lymm stocks as well. They might have been here since medieval times. Lymm was mentioned in the Domesday Book of 1086 as Lymm, with an I and an E at the end. So they might have locked the naughty lads and the market thieves in those stocks since at least 1086. And it's doing a very good job. Apparently in 2023, the Times listed Lymm as one of the nicest places to live in the UK. And the Telegraph said it was the 3rd nicest place to live in the north. It's good enough for Sutty's dad, isn't it? He's got a cottage round here.
So take off your shoes and dance to the good news. Take off your shoes and dance to the good news. So here's to the bad times, forgotten in good lives. I will let you down. I'll take off my shoes and dance to the good news. Broken smiles, but they won't turn it round. So take off your shoes and dance to the good news. Take off your shoes and dance to the good news. Take off your shoes and dance to the good news.
I can't seem to get away from the traffic today, bimblers. Lots of cars here in Lymm. But I'm sat next to a Grade 2 listed milepost put here in 1821 to tell you how far away Altrincham was, and Manchester and Warrington. This road would have been a turnpike road going all the way to Stockport. That's where we went on our last curiously listed bimble. It was made by Bell House, who I believe is Edward Taylor Bell House. He dealt with cast iron in Manchester. He built the Lower Campfield Market Hall, or as you know it, the Museum of Science and Industry. You know, the bit where they used to have the planes. This isn't the original location of the milepost. It would have been 100 metres away, on the opposite side of the road. So it's not too accurate. It's at least out by 100 metres either way. Let's bimble. Tucked away amongst the foliage here at Lymm Dam, there's a bridge that goes from nowhere to nowhere. But when it was first conceived, it clearly had a function. It was built in 1919 by William Lever. My Warringtonian Bimblers will know all about him. He started Lever Brothers, the soap makers. They used to make Sunlight soap. They opened Lever Brothers in Warrington in 1886. In fact, William Lever used to live in Warrington. He used to live at Palmyra Square, in a building that's now Signature Smiles, a dentist. I used to go there. The soap making business was expanding rapidly, and he needed to expand the factory. But unfortunately, his landlord at Banquet knew how well the business was going, and he put the rents up accordingly. So William Lever decided he was going to build his own factory on his own land and build a village next door to it for all the workers to live in. That became Port Sunlight over near Birkenhead. You'd think he'd be content with that, but he wasn't. He built another model village in the Belgian Republic of Congo, over in Africa. That was called Leverville, and it was in a place called Leopoldville. That's named after King Leopold II, Queen Victoria's cousin. He was a bad man, very bad. Some people say worse than Hitler. Certainly killed as many people as Hitler did. You'd think that William Lever would be content with that. Leverville in the Congo and Port Sunlight on the Wirral, but he wanted another one. He bought an island in the Western Isles of Scotland, and he was going to start a fishing empire. Lever Brothers did start a fishing empire, Mac Fisheries, and they owned Birdseye Fish Fingers, didn't they? You know, Captain Birdseye. But it wasn't to be. The people who lived in Leverburg, that's what William Lever called his new model village, they wanted the Crofts back. They were promised their own land if they went to fight in the First World War, and they were going to have it. So William Lever left the Western Isles of Scotland, and he was obviously looking for another model village, which is when he came to Lymm. He bought some land here and built a bridge in 1919. At around about that time, Lever Brothers bought Brunner-Monde, which was another chemical and soap makers, and they owned Joseph Crossfield and Sons, which was the soap makers next door to where Lever Brothers originally started. And I think as an ode to Joseph Crossfield, William Lever named this bridge Crossfield Bridge. But nothing came of it. Probably for the best that he didn't build a factory. Would have brought down the house prices, wouldn't it?